Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to killer7. So we are gonna have to swap to, I think, Khan here. And so we might as well do it as we're at the start here, because his special ability lets him walk, go invisible. Good news is this guy's gonna keep on coming until you get a critical on him. Like, I've upgraded a lot of the areas. Let's see. Beware the basement, the hitman is already infiltrated, the suave dude DePaul, who was at the restaurant, is a spy for the International Ethics Committee. Their goal is to disrupt the final talks between the US and Japan. They're planning a secret meeting somewhere in this building. By interrupting the talks, they hope to delay the sinking of Japan. Which apparently, we are against that. Alright, so that must have been a flying one, because that didn't really hurt me. I suspect I probably can't get the item here until I get through this other invisible walls. You know, Hanafuda, Inoshika Chow, wild boar deer butterfly, is a beautiful hand, isn't it? Pin-up girls in swimsuits are wonderful. Shoot the mask to hear more. Okay. So the two gambling things before have been more Western gambling things. Yeah, I couldn't have hit that. They have been more Western gambling things in the first place, so we've got to figure out the order, which should be this one and first, and then I'm just gonna assume that this one's third. It's weird that there's a skeleton there. Well, I guess the good news here is you could just figure out the right cards if you had any familiarity with playing Hanafuda at all, because two of these icons are just not used in Hanafuda imagery. Apples don't exist and skeletons don't exist, whereas flowers are a major part of Hanafuda. Hanafuda makes a lot of sense to Japanese people who kind of grew up with it, and the symbology of what's on the cards make a lot of sense. It is a very old Japanese card game, or collection of card games, kind of like Solitaire, but honestly, it's probably closer to something like Gin Rummy, as how you normally play it, but there's no writing on it. It was designed for a time when literacy was extremely low. Amongst the Japanese. So yeah, this feather icon is not in Hanafuda. Octopuses are not in Hanafuda. So, and I'm getting these right, obviously, because it's locking in here. This, like, cabbage is not in Hanafuda. The sun is in Hanafuda. The rose is, I think, also kind of in Hanafuda, but I'm fairly certain that this is it. Apparently not. Well, if it's not the sun, then it's gotta be the rose. And so we'll receive the soul shell and then move on. Just run back this way and see if how much help really would have been here. So, looking at this picture, you see the flower in the background, and that's kind of it. Like, I as a non-Japanese reader, I can't tell you what the bottom of that says. So if this was supposed to be wild boar beer, and that was written in Japanese wild boar beer, and you were supposed to match it with that flower, I don't think I would have gotten that. If this is supposed to be butterfly beer, then there's not really, I guess there's a little flower pattern of a rose in the logo at the bottom there. And then here we have Bambi beer that has the deer and the flower patterns. So yeah, looks like there was a puzzle there. Now what I'm interested about here is, would I set off an alarm, or would I just kill myself going through this?
Dangerous.
Alright, so you do set off an alarm. And I pressed the Y button. And that didn't work. So it must not be this guy that I'm thinking about that has that ability. Well, we're fairly certain it's not Dan. We know it's not Kade. It's probably not Kevin. It's not Master Smith. Maybe it's Coyote? No, Coyote's not doing anything. Well, he is a problem. Like, we hit this, we're out of blood. So we now need to, I guess, wander somewhere in the stairs. We're just gonna have to go downstairs and grind out on some people on like the 3rd floor. Maybe I shouldn't be so zoomed in. Is that enough blood to collect? Yeah, we just need like thin blood. And so we'll just walk this way, turn around. Still haven't gotten any thin blood. We might have to just go further and further down And maybe it was a case where I would have been better off grinding out on the spawner, even though that does seem like that would be a little dangerous.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Alright. Okay, we do now have something there. Let's check something here as far as maybe we can get some more information about the followers through these pigeon memos. So Kevin Smith is the invisible one. Interesting. Okay. Well, we did start as Kevin throwing the knives, so it does make sense that that would be the ability to use. Now, at this point, there really is no good reason to stick with Kevin, though. Just stick with Kaede until we have somebody else that is upgraded well enough. We're once again just entering these weird gates that takes us to this completely different reality. Yeah, you could very well take it as this section being the point where nothing past the gate actually happens. I could also refill my health, but you know what? Just in case, going forward, I'm going to keep a single copy. We're going upwards this time instead of downwards. Usually it's down then up. Yeah, but going forward, I think it is pretty wise to have at least one thin blood available. Plus, it's not like our character is taking massive amounts of damage. This whole Colosseum, the fact that we revisit it over and over again, does give me the feeling that there might be a flashback where a big boss battle happened in this area before, or there will be a big boss battle that happens here at the end. It doesn't feel like each one of these locations. It holds its arms wide, it holds a large sickle, it'll slice you to pieces. You must aim for the sickle. It turned around. Now's your chance. Smash the bright spot. So we're gonna shoot the sickle to turn it around, and then shoot the glowing spot. If this Colosseum and each door represented a different personality, then that would kind of make a little bit more sense. Backslides. Alright. So it's saying hit this and then hit that.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Boy, does this camera just really go up the skirt. of this character. It's a little extreme for what this game is. Like, this game is not really one that seems like it's going for sex and violence as much as it's just going for violence. So, it almost feels like each one of these gates should be a sub-boss that's way more impactful and should be the introduction of every new enemy, because I don't really feel like there's that many enemies in this game, but they definitely have introduced a lot of enemies outside of the gates. And this time we're going downward. And then we are out. So let's talk to Owazaru. Let's knock this target off quick. Master, you shouldn't have to bother with the sushi chef. Use the persona's usual dirty tricks to pulverize them. Bullets won't hit the sushi chef, so listen here, will you? Do what you have to do. There's no such thing as playing square in this world. Aim for the ceiling, in the name of Harman. Right. So they're just telling you directly how to beat these bosses instead of leaving it as kind of a puzzle, which the game would be very frustrating, frankly, if they didn't tell you, just because there is not a lot else you can do. You saw a small taste of that certainly when I ran out of blood and needed the blood to activate an effect, that I had to turn around and grind previous sections, and the amount of thick blood you get while you're trying to grind for thin blood is just not going to be worth it. We'll go through one of these just so we continue to make up. Diver tumbles down on you from the ceiling. Its recklessness must be stopped. A lot of this content in this game very obviously could have been changed into something more normal. Like, it wouldn't be too hard to get rid of Owazaru and just make that your standard NPC character that gives you hints, and then combine the other personas of characters.
Maybe.
Right. We are now trying to get everything up to level 2 as far as skills. And then, kind of at that point, it's probably not worth it to go any further. Like, once every character has level 2, they're all going to have a counterattack, down attack, and whatever special abilities they may have. And that'll be good enough for when we need to play them. Meanwhile, getting the massive 100 vials to upgrade from level 4 to level 5 on Kaede, I keep mispronouncing her name, is a thought, but then there is also a thought that
Maybe.
if we focused specifically on Dan Smith's upgrades and got him to level 5 instead, it would cost a lot, but it would have Dan Smith with his power attack available to us instead of the zoomed in attack of Kaede, which isn't really that useful. Let's go ahead and save. Back in the hallway. And here we go to the elevator. What's funny is this twice now is also us fighting humans instead of fighting the happy smile people, which is a little different. Interestingly, here it seems like I probably have to switch to Mask Day Smith and just stand right next to this.
We meet again, babyface.
So, you were behind this after all. I guess my speech was meaningless.
Lucha Libre is for kids. But you know, you are great with the kids, Masked Man.
Children are pure.
I guess the idea here is they're trying to get us to jump around as characters. Interesting. Like, he's hitting me. And he's not really hurting me as much as like, it's not really hurting me, but that definitely didn't feel like the fight that we would have expected. I would have thought that there would have been a lot more to it. And it does seem like the game is enjoying the idea of and there's just nothing here. It's just repeated lockers all over the place. Although that does look different. So the game seems to like to tease you with these short little puzzle fights instead of having you actually engage with a bigger fight. Now we're going into the Mahjong room, which I guess this is where the meeting is taking place. But I don't know if this is the good group of people or the bad group of people. I guess this guy is. I think he is the bad guy.
Finally reveal your true self. You dirtbag.
I'll take that as a threat to the states.
Pong.
It's the one who designs first that wins.
Mahjong is effectively, again, a solitaire type Jinrami, different than the card game.
There are dogs bred for fighting, and they're mean sons
Very,
of
very
bitches.
well known in Asia's, not very well known in the Western world.
What?
What can one knight
He's
possibly do?
scoring each time he says Pong and Chi. Those are different types of combinations.
Before someone puts a bullet in your head.
Shut up, monkey. Reachy.
Now he's doubling his bet there.
Too bad. Like I said, I know your train of thought. Lawn.
This means nothing to most people.
Enough with the cavilling. This is pathetic.
Hey, yo, cheater.
The reason why Mahjong tiles,
You got no hand.
What? Shit. It's all over.
like one of the reasons why Mahjong would be so popular in Asian countries is just the large amount of they just shot each other. Interesting. Large amount of humidity and moisture and raining. So playing with paper cards and embracing printing is just not as as wise of a deal. Although, in all fairness, printing press was kind of made in the Europe, UK area, I believe, so there was plenty of rain and humidity in the UK area also. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I guess I'm grabbing something from the storage box and then that's it. It's a ring and another head. Finally get some fresh air. It's not that I don't like tight places. This place is a bit too tight. A box is no way to treat someone. I look like a victim of a mutilation murder. Like slashed to pieces. Pieces. It's completely slipped in my mind. Must have fallen to pieces. Family, it's in pieces. Lovers in pieces. Bodies in pieces. My whole life is about pieces. Then I figured, why stop now? People I don't care for are also in pieces. For I knew it. I was all alone. Then I blew up the facility to pieces. And now there's nobody left. That's when I met him. Daddy Longlegs. Here, I'll give you this now. So now we have the wind ring being returned. I wonder if it's a case that the voiced lined actors that are just actually speaking are real, and then the gibberish speaking characters like the severed head are hallucinations. That would make some sense. It made me so happy. He was so very kind. He enveloped me in warmth, extended his hand for a gentle caress. Then he reached out gently for the ground prize down south. Now, that really drove me mad. Next moment, I'm looking like at a pile of mincemeat. And he knows he deserved it. These baby boomers don't know right from wrong. And that's how a killer was born. So I don't even know if that's supposed to be a male or female head, but I would assume that that's a female head. And the story there is that they the talks broke down, all according to plan, I guess. So that head apparently killed a groper, but straight up it doesn't add up. Why doesn't the US destroy the UN party? Why do they let them live? Somebody's pulling strings. Could it be the Fukushima adherent? Kinjiro Matsuoka is the director of Central Management Office, or Matsukin for short. Can he pick up where Fukushima left off? Can this dude lead Japan? Here we have a control panel. And we'll activate the elevator, I guess, to let's go to basement 1 and the top floor. Now. It's probably alright to go ahead and equip the wind ring now. Wasn't really expecting it to play that way, in which the rings would have spun in circles. Don't tell me I died. I died, obviously.
Don't make me say it again.
Well, I guess this guy is not so much a... It's not a terrible system, really. Definitely could be a lot worse, where you could accidentally have to load back and do that whole section again. Yeah. Well. I have a dream. When I grow up, I'm going to become the president. I'll make the world a place with no bad people. I promise you. I'll kill every last scum. It'll be a peaceful place. Nobody can stop me. I wonder if this character is the real personality. But you know what? There are two people who are screwing things up. The old man just won't die. You have to smash his brains to finally kill him for good. And big old man, your tie is crooked. Interesting. Well, see, this is crazy. DePaul seems like just a character you talk to now. Pro wrestlers sure are awesome. Reminds me of my childhood. We'd watch wrestling fighting on the TV. I just love the mask they smith. Have you ever considered returning to the ring? Prove the ultimate art of fighting. It's professional wrestling in a Val 2-day match. Matsukin has the Yukomo. He wants to change the world. He believes that Japan will rise from the ashes. This war won't end until you kill him. When you finally meet Matsukin, this can all end. Okay. Obviously what I needed to do was just get her life up higher.
To me, it's merely cold, rotting flesh.
And see, this is certainly part of the possibility too, is that her health bar vitality is just never going to go any higher.
Don't make me say it again.
So picking somebody with high vitality and a good gun system
I'll just set them on fire.
would be the right move.
Don't make me
Shit.
Right. Seems like we went down this time to the basement. Oh, nope. Let's go back this way. Yeah. Top and basement 1. And fourth floor in basement 1. So it should be a case now that when we walk back through here. Yeah.
Hurts, doesn't it?
So yeah, it does seem like it should just be a case that we go in this elevator and we go through here. And this floor, this basement floor, is just not on the map seemingly at all. And so this should take us up to the top. And this should be a new area. And it is. I thought that that may have been the beginning of a cutscene. And see, so there is a real map on this floor. Even though the basement map never came up. And yeah, you really don't have to be that cautious about missing stuff, because odds are just approaching 0 that you would actually be able to miss anything. That'll get us some blood. Noticeably, this game doesn't put enemies through the windows that you could like target, and that's just not what this game is. In a funny way, I guess you probably should compare a game like this to something. I want to say Doki Doki Panic, but that's not the game I'm thinking of. Well, I can't remember the name, but there was a couple of games that came out where it's an on-rail shooter with lots and lots of enemies always chasing towards you, and you have this like romance gun, and everybody, all these anime girls are in love with you and trying to smother you with love, and so you have to shoot them with the heart gun so that they don't hurt you. And yeah, that was fairly popular as kind of a weirdo game to be played and shown on YouTube a few years ago. But these games visually being different and thematically being somewhat different, the gameplay mechanic of this game is so slow compared to those kinds of games. House of the Dead is the same idea, so I can remember the name of House of the Dead. Like, there aren't scenarios usually in House of the Dead where you only have one enemy slowly walking towards you. Usually it always goes towards guns that fire very fast with lots of enemies on the screen. So the slower shooting feels weird. Like, there's less enemies on the screen and slower enemies on the screen in this game compared to something like Resident Evil 4. Definitely way less and slower than House of the Dead. There is a series of games I've never played called the Sniper series, where you actually play as a sniper and take your time to try and sniper people. But I imagine that game is slower. So, the wind ring howls. And it just moves a tarp. Interesting. And here we have the 2 headless people.
It's too big. Our voices will never be heard. You really think you're better than us because we're old men? You're not getting out of here alive.
So these two are the bosses.
We'll show him, right, partner?
And again, they don't show the character. Alright. So my thought here is that you're probably supposed to hit this guy and get your tie messed up. Let's go ahead and recover blood quickly here. Alright. Zooming in might be a problem here. I wonder if I'm supposed to just kind of run. Like, I don't think you can hit the guys unless you're a little bit closer. And I don't... it's like turning me around here. So, hit this guy in the tie, and then that turns this around. And so hit this, don't reload. Hit his tie, wait for him to turn around, and I'm just gonna hope I don't take damage. So we got one. Seems to me like you have to really have them locked in more than just pushing the button. So yeah, just letting this guy. Yeah. Just wait till it locks. They all seem to like to spin around. I think I may have taken the other guy out because I'm not seeing him in his red brains anymore. Let's see. Let's see. It seems to me like you gotta get just the right angle. Right, so I'm gonna turn around a little bit and see if that angle yeah, it just doesn't seem like that's really reacting. Yep. Let's go and recover. Let's go over this way. Yeah. Yeah. I'm confused to say the least. Like the other guy got taken out by shooting the tie of the other character. And there's just like no readdressing what was said. So let's just try something different. If that's not gonna work, let's just target this guy. I don't think that's gonna work. It does seem like we might be doing damage. But we may not. And the real danger here is that this is just going to keep on going forever. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like you get the shots. Like, it feels like I would like the old man. Because if I could target with the old man, alright, let's switch to Dan. Alright. And the problem with Dan here, so we gotta get it in target range and locked in. And that didn't work. Kevin, let's just make him invisible. Stop messing around. Doesn't seem like you can really target these guys with knives. That doesn't seem like that works either. You see Coyote or Con. Let's just see. Like, the problem here is he's just so little. Yeah, that doesn't work either. I didn't even see what his ability was. But see, that's not going to work either. It's actually fairly surprising just how much these characters don't work. And it isn't just a case of, like, Kaede having the zoom, but like, you need that fast firing rate. Which really gets back to the same thing I was just saying about how much these games usually play. Let's see. And like, you can't check this. We could switch a ring. We can recover blood. But clearly what the game wants. Alright, so I guess the idea here is that you're supposed to just run back and forth over here, turn around, wait till they get fairly close, and then don't even worry about them. Of course, that's not really working. So just like wait for these. This really can't be the actual strategy. And this is an awful strategy, if that is the plan. Not really what you would expect or want in a video game, is to just have to risk them hitting you once they start attacking directly, just to get a slight angle. The problem here also definitely comes down to, let me just run over here. You're not really locking in, so that the whole critical lock thing that should be happening here, not happening. Maybe it worked that time, but I don't think it really did. So that was not a good boss fight by any means. And I guess technically those are probably death smiles or happy smiles. Not death smiles, that's the name of a fighting game, I think. But they really didn't look like happy smiles either. We do seem like we keep jumping between Washington State and DC. Which I can only assume the reason.
When the whole world has
why they keep jumping between
Almost everything.
Washington State and
Destroying one or two
DC
nations? It's an easy
is
task, kid.
probably because Suda
The promise
51
made
didn't
30
realize
years
that
ago
Washington
wasn't a
State was on the
guarantee.
other side of the country
It was
compared
only
to
the beginning of a countdown.
Washington District of Columbia, which is its own separate little exception from a state.
Heading toward hell.
What's sad is that we've gotten used to this. I mean, our senses. That's pathetic.
That doesn't necessarily mean that we're not human.
This is a point where almost
Okay, now
certainly
you're not helping.
this would have been animated if they were going to continue to do the little flat 2D animations cutscenes. Although I guess we'll see here in a second if they're going to continue doing that. So that's a fairly long that was a fairly long experience for that level. We killed 111 Heaven Smiles. Laughter is the countdown of devastation. And now the missiles are off to potentially intercept other missiles coming from Japan, or off to potentially destroy Japan. Right, and since we're running out of save files at this point, probably would help to just overwrite this one. Plus, I can't see myself wanting to do that sequence the second time. If anything, that boss fight really was the nail in the coffin around the idea of playing this a second time, because that was not a fun experience, and I don't imagine it would turn into a fun experience. So target 00 was Angel, which we really didn't kill him. Target 01 was Sunset, which is these two old guys. Now target 02 is Cloudman, and we can also see that this is starting on April 2011 in the spring, so at this point you'd kind of think Japan was either blown up or it wasn't. And you kind of expect a different theme and possibly some different gimmicks for each level. We keep seeing a picture of either Earth or the Moon,
The name's Andre Almeida.
which I wonder if that means
I am a man with
that
a plan.
the planet's going to get blown up,
Come to me for
or the
salvation.
Moon's going to get blown up.
I have a hunch that something's gonna happen. Take this Stacy concert going on right here. Something very bad is gonna happen here. You ever met the kind of people that come to these Stacy concerts? These dudes have got energy to spare. We're talking guys who beat off 4 times a day. This is an epicenter of energy, man.
This is
But
a
this
kind of
Stacy
standard
girl,
example of
she's an
where
illusion. But in the
Japanese
new
people
age,
don't
there's
see
no fooling them, no,
African
sir. They
descent
won't be
people
tricked
very
by
much, so
illusions anymore.
their standard
Oh my
thing
God,
is just
I
to
can't hold back.
give them an afro.
Oh God, I'm coming. Yeah!
Although the dialogue
I told you, this is real.
and the characterization of this character is unique. I will say that.
Now, Mr. Garcia Smith, I'm challenging you. I've created a new faith. I want you to find me. I'm waiting for you. So what do you say? If you don't find me, I won't have meaning. So I'll be waiting for you.
So our next target just directly calls us out. Which, if you're paid assassins, Republic Party instead of Republican Party, as it would actually be known in the United States. Yeah, and we just constantly hearing this screaming. It doesn't look to me like anything here is changing. Wow, I said this game didn't seem to have sex in it, but apparently we've hit the middle point where they decided to start adding that.
Oh, I didn't notice you there. No need to be so reserved, you know. Don't worry about him. The scruff loves to play rough.
She's weirdly just all these different personalities.
Have a little fun too.
Yeah, the Samantha character seems like she is probably a fantasy character that doesn't really exist. At a certain level, this still would be kind of disabled abuse, elderly abuse, because it doesn't seem like this old man is actually conscious. Yep.
Garcian. How long has it been?
If we could play as Harman throughout the entire game, he would have off the charts health. But yeah, he seems like he's not even alert or awake.
How long has it been?
The player controls Harman when you switch through the TV.
Trouble in the south. A young man is causing some commotion.
Not a revolutionary.
He's no one of that caliber, sir.
The town is far. I shall stay here with my dear Samantha.
I'm on my way.
I'm counting on you.
Yes, sir.
Samantha. The lights.
Of course, sir.
But you can see in this depiction, he is just a...
Get out! Shoot!
He's just like this comatose, drooling old man. Let's go outside, and then we'll end the episode wherever we end up. Garcian's trailer house in Seattle, Washington. Going to the overpass. To show another cutscene, which they are stretching for time definitely in this game.
Who in the hell was that? What, a new type of stalker?
I feel something. Like somebody's calling out to me.
You can't last in this business relying on feelings, but I trust you know that.
Let's hit Texas first.
Texas?
The t-shirt. Nobody wears a t-shirt that says Texas Bronco, except in Texas.
Huh?
Texas is huge, of course.
Time to head south by southeast.
Thank you. Yeah, again, Suda51 just not really recognizing how giant the state of Texas is. You can't just say, let's go to Texas. That's... I guess they're going to Austin, Texas. That looks about the right place. Somewhere around there. Low East. Trouble in Olmeda City, the ideal city. So there's just a made-up city. Find Andre Olmeda. He's made his own city, his own cult.
Well, we don't get many black folk around here.
We do get some flat animation, although this doesn't look particularly good.
Yes, I see. I just met him today. I meet him every day. You saw the posters around town? You think they're creepy? Well, You better keep that thought to yourself around here, if you care for your life. This is a mean town, and they'll do anything to protect the great old maid.
Okay, so we've got a new area. Let's see if we can. Right now we can only play as Garcia Smith. We now have some kind of like scratch off card that there's 11 plus 1 bottle caps that we're apparently going to be collecting. Interesting. And it seems like we may have a whole middle section of the game that's a lot bigger. We don't have any rings at the moment. We have this photo. It kind of feels like we didn't find a pigeon in that last level, but I'm fairly certain we did find at least one. Alright, well, the game seems like they want to go in a different direction and do something different. That cutscene was very much shorter as far as the flat animation went. The flat 2D animation versus this cel shaded 3D animation, which is most of the cutscenes. We do seem like we are getting fairly far away from the main thought that we would just be fighting Heaven Smiles over and over again, although it does seem like the Heaven Smiles may be pulling the strings in the background, and we still probably are going to mostly be fighting Heavenly Smiles, even if there's really no explanation for that. There is also some coins that we'll be collecting in the lower left hand corner, which makes me wonder if maybe this time we aren't going to actually collect the soul shells. Yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say. Yep. So we should just end it there. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.